by the end of the day today, I'm gonna be broke as shit.
Fans are expressing concerns for Colleen Hoover after the It Ends With Us author posted a distressed video on Instagram, sipping on a Diet Pepsi.
Colleen Hoover is back on Instagram, but she's removed all traces of Blake Lively. Also, Hollywood, can we stop this narrative that both of them are marching towards mutually assured destruction? One of them's just trying to defend himself.
Blake Lively is in the news as a source says she never intended to sue. Why they're saying she did what she did and why it is very sinister and why it backfired. Also, like I said, Colleen Hoover is back and she has deleted some...
Author Colleen Hoover, whose novel It Ends With Us was turned into the much talked about movie starring Justin Baldoni and novice film editor Blake Lively, is breaking her silence.
Blake Lively, known as one of Hollywood's golden girls and a longtime fan favorite, has built her career on charm, style, and strong performances. But lately, she's found herself at the center of online chatter and growing controversy. The drama? It all surrounds the film adaptation of It Ends With Us, based on Colleen Hoover's best-selling novel. What should have been a perfect collaboration between a respected actress and a beloved author has reportedly turned into a mess of creative disagreements and behind-the-scenes tension. So now everyone's wondering, what's really happening behind the scenes?
Hoover is back. She's not retired, and she scraped all posts, mentions, photos of Blake Lively. The whole thing's gone. What does that mean? Colleen Hoover, she said she was retiring, or that was the rumors. She deactivated the account after defending Blake very loudly. And now all that support, all mentions are gone. Now, to be fair, no mentions of Justin either, but I don't think there were a lot on this either. As we've gone through, this Redditor put together some good numbers, some data for us to actually look at. She now has 5,697 posts. She previously had 5,665 posts. So that means she deleted 32 posts. Also, she had 2,975 account followers before. Now she has 2,964, meaning she unfollowed 11 accounts. Now, 11 people could have blocked her, I suppose. Not incredibly easy to tell, but a lot of people are noticing that Blake is not following her anymore. And so a lot of theories as to what's happening.
Is Colleen Hoover okay? Have you guys seen her latest stories? Seems like she's a bit off. I got so many messages of people telling me to go to her story, so let's watch this together.
Be either a new rock bottom for me or the best thing that's ever come out of my brain.
When news broke that It Ends With Us would be turned into a movie, fans were thrilled. Colleen Hoover's novel had already become a huge success, thanks to its emotional and powerful story about trauma, domestic violence, and survival. The book struck a deep chord with readers, many of whom said it felt personal to them.
If you don't know, Colleen Hoover was friends with Justin Baldoni for years. He reached out to her, wooed her, expressed his love and admiration for her writing, and really sold her on the story that he wanted to tell as director before the plantation princess extorted him and took over all control of the movie. Submitted in the amended lawsuit against Taylor Swift's bestie are all these email communications between Baldoni and Hoover. And despite their long history together, Colleen Hoover repeatedly turned her back on Justin Baldoni, as well as publicly praising the wife of Scarlett Johansson's ex-husband. Even before the release of It Ends With Us, the author distanced herself from Baldoni. Instead of promoting the film with him, she joined the promo trail repeatedly with her. Only at the very beginning did she have an event with Justin Baldoni. But after that, right up until the film's release, it was all about Colleen and Blake, Colleen and Blake.
The It Ends With Us legal battle between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni keeps on escalating. Blake's team is on the hunt for receipts and has filed a subpoena seeking every single one of Justin's phone calls, text messages, data logs, and real-time location information over the past 2.5 years. Her attorneys tell ET they will, quote, expose the people, tactics, and methods that have worked to destroy and bury her reputation.
Yeah, it's pretty common. Usually one side will ask for whatever they can, but there will be pushback. And those requests typically get limited or restricted in some.
Blake Lively was cast as Lily Bloom, the lead character, and was also brought on as a producer for the movie. First, fans were excited. Blake seemed like a great fit. Her background in playing both charming and emotionally intense roles made her seem like the right person to bring Lily to life. Her added role as a producer suggested she truly cared about the project.
On social media, she tagged her on the I to the G and wrote, @Blake Lively, you have been nothing but honest, kind, supportive, and patient since the day we met. Thank you for being exactly the human that you are. Never change, never wilt. This woman is a professional. She knows the importance of words like I do. Starting her statement to the Woody Allen apologist with, "You have been nothing but honest," more than implies that Justin Baldoni has been dishonest.
But as the film moved into pre-production, rumors started popping up. Some outlets hinted at creative disagreements between Colleen Hoover and the filmmaking team. A few fans noticed that Colleen had posted some cryptic messages on social media, which many thought pointed to her being frustrated. Still, she never directly confirmed anything.
So I just found this clip of something Colleen Hoover said about Justin Baldoni at Book Bonanza.
You know, when Justin said he wanted to play Ryle, I was on board for that. I thought that he kind of was what I envisioned when I wrote the book.
But if you have looked at Justin Baldoni's lawsuit and timeline, then you would know that Colleen Hoover was the one who suggested he play Ryle. Justin Baldoni provided several emails sent between him and Colleen Hoover ahead of turning It Ends With Us into a movie. Justin reached out to Colleen Hoover with the idea of optioning the book into a movie under his production company, Wayfarer Studios. And he never mentioned acting in the film until Colleen suggested it. But she did right here on April 12th, 2019. She sent in an email, "Have you given any thought to whether you would want an acting role in this? Say maybe Ryle? I could see it."
Then Justin Baldoni, actor and director best known for Jane the Virgin, joined the project. He was set to direct the film and also play Ryle Kincaid, Lily's love interest. Fans were hopeful. Justin has a solid reputation for telling meaningful, heartfelt stories, and many believed he'd treat the book with the seriousness it deserved. But soon there was talk of disagreements between Justin, Blake, and Colleen, especially around how the film would handle the book's heavier themes.
That's not what she said at Book Bonanza. Now, this doesn't have anything to do with the allegations made against Justin Baldoni, but it's just interesting to see that she made this comment at Book Bonanza, because as a reminder, Book Bonanza happened in the midst of Blake Lively allegedly taking over the film, and Justin Baldoni was not allowed to go to Book Bonanza. Instead, Blake Lively, Brandon Sklenar, and Colleen Hoover went, and Blake, quote-unquote, snuck the movie in to show fans without Sony's approval because it wasn't done being edited. During the event, Colleen was talking about casting Justin as Ryle and said that he was the one who suggested it, which I almost feel like is just setting up the distance between Justin Baldoni and the rest of the cast from that point, before any allegations were publicly made and before they even appeared separately for PR, when speculations started forming about what happened between the cast. Maybe it was just an innocent comment, but to me, it just seems a little too convenient.
That's when the situation really exploded. Colleen Hoover reportedly made some public comments that many took as signs of her disappointment. While she didn't mention names, she said things that people believed were aimed at the film's production team. One quote that spread fast online was, "Some people don't want the truth to come out. They'd rather throw money at a problem than deal with it." The internet went wild with theories that Colleen was talking about the drama on set.
The writer has come under fire for her initial support of Blake Lively at the start of the public It Ends With Us feud with Justin Baldoni. In her Instagram rant, she discusses financial worries.
By the end of the day today, I'm going to be broke as Thanks, Stephanie. You better be careful because maybe TMZ was right. Maybe I am firing all my employees and retiring. Well, I can't retire now because now I'm going to be in the hole by 5 p.m.
Colleen then makes a statement directly to the public, saying,
"Even if you hate me, you should go buy a piece because It's a very kind of bad thing. You know, at least I have my dad Pepsi. It's still going to be a great day because you guys get almost free merch. Congrats.
Things heated up even more when new reports claimed that Blake Lively had allegedly pushed for changes to the script, changes that would soften or remove some of the book's more intense scenes. Some believed Blake was trying to make the movie more suitable for mainstream audiences, while others thought it had to do with her public image. Still, none of these claims were backed up with hard proof.
What's really going on here is the isolation of Blake Lively. As we mentioned before, and as I reported in my newsletter this week, all of her famous friends are radio silent. A lot of people who came out and supported her in the beginning, they were all Team Blake. They have gone quiet. We talked about how Colleen Hoover, the actual author of the book, It Ends With Us, took herself off of Instagram for a while and just came back and removed any reference of Blake.
Later on at Book Bonanza, a big fan event for authors and readers, Colleen Hoover finally addressed Justin Baldoni's role in the film. She had kind words for him, saying, "Justin cares deeply about getting this right. He's been so involved, and I trust him to tell Lily's story the way it deserves to be told." Her comments made people wonder if things were really as tense as the rumors claimed.
Colleen took a break from social media in late January, deactivating her Instagram. While she returned to the platform last month, she appeared to scrub all traces of Lively and Baldoni from her profile, along with any mention of It Ends With Us, which hit theaters in August of 2024.
As the gossip spread, fans began to take sides. Some stood by Colleen Hoover, saying the film should stick closely to the book's raw emotional tone. Others supported Blake Lively, arguing that film adaptations always need changes. Meanwhile, Justin Baldoni became a major point of discussion. Some sources claimed he was trying to act as a middleman between Blake and Colleen, hoping to find a balance that worked for everyone. Others speculated that even Justin had ideas that didn't fully match Colleen's vision.
Justin Baldoni claims Blake Lively never intended to file a lawsuit. So these documents are not new, what I'm about to share with you, but it's an interesting take that I don't think we properly have discussed yet. And that take is that people wonder, well, why would Blake Lively make this public claim? Well, maybe she never intended for it to be public. Maybe the private claim was all she intended to coerce control of the film or whatnot. In the amended lawsuit, Justin Baldoni claimed Lively never intended to file a civil lawsuit, which would have triggered the Wayfair party's right to discovery, including obtaining evidence and deposing Lively under oath. By the time Lively actually filed a lawsuit against the Wayfair parties, the damage to the Wayfair parties was done by virtue of Lively's months of colluding with the New York Times on a false and malicious narrative, unshielded by any privilege. Make no mistake, these actions were deliberate.
Soon, the hashtag #StandWithColleen started trending on social media. Blake Lively's PR team quickly stepped in to calm the situation, calling it all a big misunderstanding. But no other major Hollywood stars came forward to support Blake publicly, which only made people talk more.
Justin's lawyer calls the move a, quote, massive fishing expedition. In the midst of this court battle, It Ends With Us author Colleen Hoover has quietly reactivated her Instagram account after 3 weeks, but she deleted all of her posts featuring Justin or Blake.
I take no credit for that. Action!
And after Blake was accused of turning the cast against Justin, yet another newly resurfaced interview is coming back to haunt her.
She oversteps her boundaries a bit.
In a 2009 interview with Glamour, the Gossip Girl star says when Penn Badgley was cast as her love interest, quote, I was so upset that they hired him, I actually poisoned the whole cast against him.
Oh. Wow.
What?
Blake says it took around a week before she realized he wasn't a jerk.
Then came another surprising twist. Rumors surfaced that Blake Lively was thinking about suing Justin Baldoni. But her legal team shut that down fast. They explained that Blake was working on the film as a contractor under Justin Baldoni's production company. Because of that legal setup, they said she couldn't sue him for sexual harassment or any other kind of workplace-related issue.
Saying that Blake Lively could not sue Justin Baldoni over age because she was hired by Justin Baldoni's company as a contractor. For the argument that Blake Lively was hired as a contractor through her company, that will not change the SH claims she has under California law. There are two reasons for this. California law includes independent contractors as people who can make SH claims against an employer, so even if Blake Lively was an independent contractor, she still has the right to make SH claims as if she were an employee. And two, Blake Lively would not technically meet the definition of an independent contractor under California law, even if she were hired under her company, because amongst other things, she did not have control over the time and place of her work, even though it sounded like that a lot if we read Justin Baldoni's lawsuit. Anyways, they say these are rather technical arguments, but the bottom line is that under California's Fair Employment and Housing Act, someone in Lively's position has the right to make SH claims. So now we just have to see if actually the judge will allow Blake Lively to use California law in her lawsuit in New York.
At a press event around that time, actress Florence Pugh was asked for her opinion on the whole situation. Her response was simple but powerful. I think it's really important to tell stories as they were meant to be told without watering them down. The rawness of a book is what makes it powerful. She didn't name names, but fans were quick to link her comment to the ongoing It Ends With Us debate.
Celebrity attorney Christopher Melcher exclusively told Fox News Digital Baldoni had a very good reason to make the claim that Lively's actions were intentional. Here's what he had to say. Because it was just a request for the government to investigate and not a lawsuit against Baldoni, he had no right to subpoena witnesses or force Blake or Ryan to sit for a deposition. The suspicion is that she leaked this request for investigation to the media, DOI, of course, with all of these text messages on there so that she could garner public sympathy, but not be exposed to any scrutiny for her allegation.
With no official statements from the key players, it's hard to know how much of the drama is real. But that hasn't stopped people from asking tough questions. Did Blake Lively really try to take over the project? Was Colleen Hoover actually unhappy, or are people just reading too much into her posts? How much creative control does Justin Baldoni actually have? Is this just a case of typical Hollywood behind-the-scenes drama being blown out of proportion? One thing's for sure, this film adaptation has become one of the most talked-about projects in Hollywood.
So, I mean, it's very obvious in hindsight, but what they're saying is before she filed the claim against him, he would have had no ability to, no one would have been able to see this unless she wanted it leaked. Melcher specified the importance of Baldoni, stating Lively never intended to file a civil lawsuit in his amended lawsuit shared online. Ordinarily, if somebody makes a false statement against somebody, it's defamation, and you can get sued. But if the statement is made in a lawsuit or in a contemplation of an immediate suit being filed, it is protected under the litigation privilege. So California Civil Code says statements made by a party in the course of a lawsuit are not defamatory, they're not actionable. You can't sue for defamation, and that's been interpreted to mean, okay, well, literally, if you're filing tomorrow and you're maybe given a press release or demand letter, you can be covered under that umbrella that has to be immediately contemplated. Again, a little complicated here. So this never intended is the code word for him saying that the leaks to the press are not covered by this litigation privilege because they were not made in the context of a lawsuit. And so that's what gives him the right to sue. Otherwise, he would be blocked.
Now, everyone's watching to see what happens next. The film is still being made, but fans want answers. Will Blake Lively speak out? Will Colleen Hoover set the record straight? And how will Justin Baldoni handle all the attention and speculation around his role? Only time will tell. But if there's one thing we know about Hollywood, it's that the truth is rarely simple. So what do you think? Are these just overhyped rumors, or is there something deeper going on? Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more behind-the-scenes Hollywood stories.